This is the day we've all been waiting for. Hello, fellow cycling fans, I'm Georgie, and welcome to my preview of the hardest stage of 2025, Tour de France, Stage 18. But as always, before we start, I have to ask you for a favor. Please subscribe to my channel. Less than 40 subscribers now until my goal of 1000. Thank you for subscribing. Also, don't forget to hit that notification bell so you never miss a preview in my channel. And we need to recap stage 17 before all the chaos on stage 18. So in the end, it was a sprint won by Jonathan Milan in front of Jordi Meus, Tobias Lund Andersen, Arno Deli and Ballerini. However, there was a big crash in the final kilometer, so those gaps don't mind, everyone get the same time. Unfortunately, Biniam Girmay looked to be seriously injured in that crash. But there are no changes in the GC. Pogačar 4 minutes and 15 seconds in front of Vingegaard, Lipowitz 9 minutes behind, then only Roglič, Vokilan, Gal, Johannesson, Healy and Carlos Rodriguez rounding up the top 10. There was a big movement in the green jersey competition. Jonathan Milan now extends his lead to over 72 points in front of Pogacar, so I think that Milan all but secured this green jersey. In the KOM there were no changes, but tomorrow is a huge day. Maximum of 80 points for a single rider. It's going to be epic. And in the white jersey competition, Florian Lipowitz obviously still leads 2 minutes in front of Oscar Onley, with Kevin Vokilan 4 minutes and 17 seconds behind. In the team's classification, it is still Team Visma LAB with 15 minutes of an advantage over UAE Team Emirates. So now we can focus on stage 18, 172 kilometers from Vif all the way to a mountain top finish near Courchevel, the famous Col de la Loze at 2,300 meters of elevation. That is the highest point in this year's Tour de France. But before that or category climb, we start with Col du Glandon, 21.7 kilometers at 5.1%. 60 kilometers from the start is the summit of this climb, and I expect massive attacks before the climb to get in a breakaway. Everyone will want to be in this breakaway, including Lenny Martinez, Tim Arensman, Mas, some of the lower GC guys. But I expect a bunch of Visma LAB guys to try and be satellite riders for Jonas Vingegaard, because this is the stage where they have to throw everything they have. They need to dig deep and try to cut Pogacar's advantage, because on stage 19 you're not going to cut down for a minute. This is where you need to attack. So Jorgenson, he needs to sacrifice himself. He needs to get in that breakaway and be a satellite rider for Vingegaard. Then I think they need another rider like Benoot or maybe Wout van Aert. I don't know who will manage to get in a breakaway. It is also going to be a big test for UAE Team Emirates. They didn't look that great in the high mountains. They really miss Almeida. So can they really cover all of the Visma LAB riders? I really doubt that. Then we go on to the second climb of the day. 19.3 kilometers at 7.8%. It is Col de la Madeleine. I talked about this climb in the Dauphiné. This is my favorite climb in France. It's such a perfect climb, going all the way to 2000 meters of elevation. Never really too steep. There are kilometers of around 10%, but never going below 6%. This is a brutal climb, long one, and this is where Visma LAB need to launch their attack in the lower slopes with the Campanides and Benoot, and then Sepp Kuss should try and pull as hard as he can for Jonas Vingegaard's attack on Pogacar. There are still almost 70 kilometers left of the stage once the riders reach Col de la Madeleine, but I think that the race will be in shambles by the time they get here. Then a long descent, almost 30 kilometers before some 15 kilometers in the valley, and then it's the monster Col de la Loze, 26.3 kilometers at 8.5%. It's not the steepest climb, but at almost 27 kilometers, it is pain all the way to the finish, and here you can give massive amounts of time. So if Vingegaard can detach Pogačar somewhere alongside Col de la Madeleine, then he needs a satellite rider for that descent and in the valley, and in the end he needs to push as much watts as he can on the final climb. Pogačar's, Pogačar's only goal tomorrow is to follow Vingegaard. I don't think that he should risk anything. If the opportunity for a stage win presents itself, of course he's going to take it, but he is on the defensive from now on. Just follow Vingegaard and then try to outsprint him. In the end, okay, maybe even drop him on the Col de la Loze. This is the climb where he said, I'm gone, I'm dead. However, we are now going on the other side. As you can see here on the map, we are starting in Vif, going mostly to the northeast through the Col de la Madeleine, and then we are going here from Moutier and Courchevel to the top at Col de la Loze, and the last time around they were going through Maribel, the location of the famous Les Trois Vallées alpine skiing resort that your host had a privilege skiing in. But there is also a big variable tomorrow, and that is the weather. It is going to be miserable in the Alps. 10, 11, maximum of 12 degrees Celsius, rain throughout the day, not a lot of wind, so that can encourage attacks. I think that this stage is going to be epic. And finally, moving on to bookmakers odds. Before I pick my winner of this stage, tell me in the comments who do you think is going to win, and can Jonas Vingegaard finally break Tadej Pogacar? Bookmakers obviously have Tadej as the number one favorite. He hasn't been dropped in the Tour de France since that infamous Col de la Loze stage. He's the number one pick in front of Vingegaard. Then a possible breakaway guys like Arensman, Rodriguez, Mas, Healy, Valentin Parapantre, Felix Gall should maybe try as well. But my pick for this stage after all this talk is Jonas Vingegaard. We are in the third week of a Grand Tour. This is Jonas Vingegaard's time. Visma LAB are going to throw everything they have at Pogacar tomorrow, and I think that maybe Vingegaard can finally break him and take some time. I don't think that he can gain much, but maybe 30 seconds to a minute is possible. However, if he can't drop him, then for sure it is a Tadej Pogacar's win in the end in a two-man sprint. Do I think that anyone else has a chance tomorrow? No, I think Visma LAB will put a fierce tempo. No one else can win it besides these two aliens. So that was all for this preview. I hope you are enjoying my analysis and comments about races and that you are enjoying this Tour de France. If you do, give me a like. Have a great day, and I hope to see you tomorrow for my preview of another mountainous stage 19. Have a great day, and bye.